So far in this course, we have tried to understand the nature of costs. We saw how the costs behave with respect to output. When output increases, some of the costs remain the same and some of them change with output. We also saw how this information can be used in finding out the break-even point. Further, we saw that some of the costs can be directly traced to a unit of output and some of them either cannot be or the management chooses not to do. We subsequently called them as the indirect costs or the overheads, and we saw how these overhead costs can be allocated over different products, different departments, and so on. And in today's modern organization where the overheads are very high, we saw that the activity-based costing is the right solution to deal with the overheads and to sort of divide them in a very accurate way. In the process, we also saw some of the other terms around the cost, and we try to understand what is a marginal cost versus a sunk cost and an opportunity cost and so on. So all of this has given you a fair idea about the topic of costing, and now we would like to take one more step and understand how all of this can be useful to a manager. So there we will try to see how performance of a department or a product or an entire organization can be assessed using this costing information that has been painfully collected and understood. So that is the subject of this video. The concept that helps us in determining the performance on an organization or a product or a department is the variance analysis. Now, variance analysis is an advanced discipline in cost accounting. We will just take a cursory overview of what happens in this. I would like you to think of an example, say a construction project, and we'll take a very simple construction project involving construction of a boundary wall, say about 100 meters long. So the workers need to dig a ditch. We need to arrange for materials, your cement, sand, bricks, and so on, and then we start laying the bricks and complete the work. So these are typically rate contracts given to contractors, and typical rate may be, let us say, 1,000 rupees per meter, and we are going to construct a 100-meter wall, so it will take about 1 lakh rupees. So for this activity, once you finish this, you may want to know how much money you made, or was it a good initiative, or you lost money on this. So for that, this variance analysis comes in handy. So it is done generally post facto. So after the work is done, you try to investigate and find out how your profit was, and was it did you make any mistakes somewhere. So we know that profit is nothing but revenue minus cost. So we divide that into this part. Subsequently, we divide the costs into direct and indirect costs, and then revenue into price times volume. So this is one side. Then on the cost side, we can divide it further, because direct costs are both on account of material and labor. And then in each one there can be further subdivision possible. So we try to sort of drill down all the way to the last bit and try to understand if we made any mistakes anywhere, and if we performed well on any other front. So let's continue with the construction example. And let's say so your revenue was price of 1,000 rupees per meter and 100 meters, that was your volume, right? And that was the original plan, or we could say the budgeted quantity of price and revenue. But it may so happen that due to the requirements change on the buyers or the end users end,
You may see instead of 100 meters, now you need only maybe 85 meters or 95 meters, or sometimes you may need a little bit extra. These nothing goes as per plan exactly. There will be some adjustments here or there. So on account of that, instead of say let's say the final was 95 meters. So instead of making 1 lakh rupees as revenue, you are now having 95,000 rupees as revenue. Similarly, on the price paid also, there may be some changes. They didn't like your work, and therefore instead of paying you 1,000 rupees, they are paying you maybe 980 rupees. Or sometimes you negotiate saying that there has been the actual work was much tougher because suddenly there was some pipeline which was going through, and therefore you had to um, sort of you know work harder to build that wall compared to originally planned. So as a result, you demand that instead of 1,000, pay me 1,005. And if the customer agrees, if the client agrees, you may end up getting more money. So your revenue in the end may not be 1 lakh rupees. It may be a little less or a little more, and the change may be on account of either price or volume. So that is needs to be recorded and analyzed further. Similarly, on the cost front, so let's look at the smaller box first, that is period costs, which are, in other words, fixed costs or things which won't depend on whether you build 100-meter wall or a 110-meter wall. So this can be maybe cost of surveying or cost of supervision, or maybe getting into that agreement with the buyer, or you may be spending some money on maintaining register and so on. So all this is your period cost, but there also you may have originally thought that for a 1 lakh rupee project you will spend about 10,000 rupees on all these activities. But in reality it may be a little more or a little less. So if you spend a little more, it is called as an unfavorable variance, because you are spending a little more than expected. That means you are losing money. If you spend a little less than the originally budgeted 10,000 rupees, then it's favorable to you. Right? Similarly, on the revenue front, if you earn more than 1 lakh rupees, it would be favorable. And if you earn a little less than 1 lakh rupees, so that would be unfavorable variance. So we keep checking these variances on account of each and every box. Now moving to the more complicated box, that is the direct costs. Now we have direct labor cost and direct material cost. So you may have spent a little more on one and a little less on one, or both the places you may spend more or less. Whatever it is, we need to find out. So what we do further is we dig deeper and see on labor, it is comprised of usage and wages, that is hourly or daily wages. And similarly on materials, you have price and quantity. So let's take example of cement. Say for the entire exercise for 100 meters, you needed 100 bags of cement. So that's your quantity, or we will call it a budgeted quantity. But in contrast, you may end up, in reality, you may end up using 105 bags of cement, which may be because of factors within your control or factors outside your control. So at this point, we don't know that, but you ended up using 5 extra bags of cement. So that is your variance on account of material quantity. And this is an unfavorable variance because you ended up spending more than what you should have or what you budgeted for. The second part in materials would be the price of materials. So cement bag, instead of costing 250 rupees, let's say you got the project about 1 year ago. At that time, the prices were low, but in last 6 months or so, because of inflation and changes in input costs or whatever, the prices of cement bags have gone up by almost 70-80%. So you may have budgeted for about 250 rupees per bag, but now it is costing about maybe 400 rupees per bag. So that extra 150 rupees per bag is your material price variance, and this is again an unfavorable variance because you are having to spend more than what you budgeted for. So you'll find out the total project, you consumed about 100 bags or 105 bags, and times 250 or times whatever 400. So that extra 150 times 100 bags is your material cost variance, about 15,000 rupees. So that's as far as materials is concerned. Similar concept is applicable for labor. We are calling it usage, which is in number of laborers times number of days, or it can be hours depending on the nature of work, and wages. So wages, originally you thought that you will pay them per day 200 rupees, but you end up paying them maybe 190 or 210. So whichever way, there may be a small variance on account of that. And secondly, you initially thought that for 100 meters of wall, you will need maybe about 20 days. But in reality, the workers you got were very efficient and they finished the work in 19 days. So you have now 1 day of favorable labor variance. You saved money on account of the increased efficiency. So this is how you divide all the variances. You had originally thought maybe in the whole project of 1 lakh rupees, you will make some profit of 5,000 rupees. But you end up making maybe 4,500 rupees of profit. So it may be happening that on some of these items you are saving money and your profit should have increased, but then there are others where you are losing money or you are having unfavorable variances, and therefore you are net losing 500 rupees from your original target. So this is a tool which helps you in achieving this. Like I said, the concept of advanced costing is a complete paper for cost and management accountants, and there is a lot that can be studied in this. For example, in the period costs or the overheads, you divide them again into fixed and variable, and then see what is contributing how much, and so on. But I hope you get a broad idea. So let me just extend this to an example of, let us say, another commodity, maybe glucose biscuits. You are Parle products and you want to know whether your biscuits are priced right and are you losing money or are you making money in those. So you will again check, your revenue maybe 5 rupees per box, and you plan to spend maybe 1 lakh boxes or 1 lakh packs. But in one quarter or in one particular period, you ended up spending a little less or a little more. So how did that help or hurt? Price, instead of 5 rupees, maybe you had to give a lot of discounts to retailers and customers. So you ended up having a little less than what was originally thought of. Similarly, period costs, there may be some fixed cost. You thought that you will end up spending so much, but you end up spending a little more or a little less. So there will be some variance. Similarly, then direct labor cost, usage and wages, and materials like your sugar and wheat flour and oil and packaging material and all that. So in all of it, you may either spend a little more than what you planned for or a little less than. And now all of this, the responsibility gets assigned to different departments. So for example, in terms of purchase of your raw materials, if there is a difference in price from the budgeted price, then it is the purchase department that is responsible for this variance, which may be a favorable or an unfavorable variance. So accordingly, you will either reward the purchase team, or you may reprimand them that you are not following the budget, you are not going as per the budget, and therefore the company is losing money. Then coming to material quantity, it would be the shop floor people, the supervisors and the staff, who are either wasting material or they are not taking care of materials properly, and therefore some batches have to be rejected, or someone is stealing materials. So any of these could be happening, and therefore you may want to question them. So this is as far as material price and material quantity is concerned. Similarly, for labor, there may be wages issues, which is in the purview of HR department, HR, IR, personnel, whatever may be the name. So people who are fixing the wages, or people who are trying to get manpower at a certain rate, and they own that part of the budget. Then coming to the usage, again the shop floor supervisor is responsible to see whether the employees are wasting their time or are they using the time productively, and within the budgeted amount of time the given target of production is achieved. So that's how this is handled. Then on the revenue front, the price responsibility is generally with the head office, because head office sets the price, but volume is with the sales team. Are they able to achieve more sales or the given target of the sales or not? So if they are having an unfavorable variance, then they may be asked some questions, and if they are having a favorable variance, that means they are selling more, then they may be given some incentives or sales bonus or such things. So these are different tools that companies use to be able to identify responsibilities and ask questions. So basically this variance analysis gives you a skeleton, and it has to be compared with the budget. So if you recall our a sample budget that I had shown, which talked about spending on materials, spending on unit rate on materials, units consumed on materials, then similarly labor, how much is consumed on each item and what was the rate paid per hour, or all such. So all that is budget, which basically is mirrored here, but here we have the additional information about actuals. So budget minus actuals tells us the variance, and based on variance against each box, I will ask questions to my different departments and try to understand where the problem lies and where the areas of improvements lie, and who are the people who need to be rewarded also. So all of this actually is a what we can say as a performance measurement tool. It helps you measure the performance of departments, performance of products, or the performance of the entire organization. And this in a way is telling me a kind of a scorecard. It is telling me, so if I have to draw the analogy of cricket, then this tells me how my bowling department is doing, how my fielding department is doing, how my batting department is doing, and so on. So all of this kind of helps me in understanding where my weaknesses are, and I can take action accordingly. Otherwise what ends up happening is there are people on one side of the team who are working very hard to decrease the profit, and then there are some people who are working very hard to increase the profit, but the net effect is both of them are so strong that the needle is not moving. It's where it is. So I need to basically identify the people who are working very, very hard to reduce the profit, and then stop them. Don't work so hard, relax, let the other people do their work. So that kind of intervention is required in any organization, any situation, and this is a tool which helps us in doing this. So we'll close the video here, and we'll have any questions or discussions after this.